today we're going to be doing another helmet review as requested by quite a few people after the last one actually, on my HJC FG-ST. That's it. This is called the Fluo Matte. I can't remember when I bought it. I actually ordered a different colour and they took my money, they, who I won't name, and then they emailed me to say actually we don't have that colour, so do you want this one instead? Which turned out okay. I like it. So to start with, we'll get it straight into the looks. I like the looks of this helmet. Now I know I've kind of destroyed it a bit with, you know, my mounts for my GoPro, obviously here, and also the Cardo system, which I'll talk a little bit about at the end. I don't think it's deserving of a full video, but it is a good system, so I'll have a quick bit about it. This helmet is more standard styling than the I still can't say that word. Thunder 3 I reviewed the last day, just being kind of a more standard shape, whereas the Thunder 3 was kind of, I think, styled after snowmobiles mainly. You do have the little bit of detail work at the back, the little scoop and stuff does look nice, and I like how the vents are on the front. You probably are seeing close-up shots now because, you know, I do what I can for you viewers. But other than that, I really like the looks of the helmet. You know, the actual print work on it is nice. The fluo is really bright. I got someone else to wear it for me once in the night to see how much it lit up, and it does light up a lot, which, aside from kind of looking nice as a design, is obviously good and safe, and we'll get to that in a minute. The only thing I'll say about this is, if you were to ask me for a score out of 5 for looks, I'll give it 4 out of 5, not 5 out of 5, and that's because the bigger brother of the FG series, the Orpha, which is kind of HJC's flagship range, the price isn't that much more, and I'll put a comparison up here in a second, but it's enough to make me think that should I have stretched for the Orpha, it just looks better. But I didn't, so, you know, we make do what we have. But yeah, 4 out of 5. It is a good looking helmet. It's just not great. That's about it. It's kind of like, you'll see it come through the stats the whole way down. This helmet is a very utilitarian helmet. It's a donkey, and that probably says more about me than anything else, since I also refer to my phaser as a donkey. Maybe I just like things that are kind of good at everything but not great at anything. Comfort. This helmet is a pretty damn comfortable helmet. I think it is definitely a step up from the Thunder 3 as a comparison, just purely even for the comfort liners. The comfort liners, they're kind of firmer but not too firm, and they've held up way better. I'll do a comparison at the end of the video just to show you, and this helmet probably has done more mileage than the Thunder 3 at this stage. From now on I'm calling that the T3 in this video. So from a overall comfort perspective, as I said, it's very good. I give it about a 4 out of 5, but certain things do count against it. But the good things first. Noise. If you look online about this helmet, people are divided. Some people find it really loud, some people find it really quiet, some people find it just right. What I would say is, if you have an issue with the noise, you do realise you put your head out in the air at 100+ kilometers an hour and you're complaining about noise. Buy some earplugs. Seriously, why is that even a rating for helmets? Their earplugs like €5. We'll move on. Ears aren't so good. So if you have a comms unit like this and larger speakers, and I'll try to get a close-up later in there, but these aren't even big speakers. It does take a while to get used to the press on your ears. So I did wear the helmet a good bit before I bought the Cardo system, and once I fit it, I really did notice the difference. So I think it's something that they could have made the opening slightly deeper for those earplugs. Just, it would have made it better overall, and it's a small thing and probably wouldn't have impacted the safety of the helmet. So that's something I would definitely, if I was a designer in HJC and I'd worn this, I would go back and make them slightly deeper, and or talk to Cardo and say, make smaller speakers, damn you. One thing that this is really good for comfort wise is winter riding. It's quite a warm helmet. Your head will not get cold in here provided you close the vents, which is really easy to do with a click and a click here, and obviously then a slider down here. One thing I will say about this helmet that is excellent is it comes pin lock, with the pin lock in the case, so you can put that straight in, and that is a godsend in winter. If you've never ridden with pin lock, you need to try it in wet weather or in cold weather. It just stops the visor fogging up. It takes out so much hassle for the rider, and it's an absolutely brilliant system. And the fact they ship it in the box with the price is real good. Definitely a plus point for the HJC overall. One thing that does count against it from a comfort perspective is on the helmet, the visor clips closed, like so. Now the problem with that is, number one, it's kind of a pain in the ass sometimes to close it, and it's also a massive pain in the ass to open it. You're generally going to be closing your visor in winter when it's cold, and you might be wearing thicker gloves because it's cold. And when you have thicker gloves on, you cannot feel this tab. And it ends up with you just kind of mashing your face and punching your helmet a lot in traffic, and you look silly and it's annoying. Something else that might count against it from a comfort perspective is the fact it is double D-ring equipped. Now for me that's also a positive, but something I just thought I'd mention. If you don't like fiddly straps that you have to put on every time you use it, it does get a little bit annoying. Not majorly annoying, but a little bit, so it's just something to bear in mind. The last two things I'll talk about from a comfort perspective: the built-in sun visor, which is very handy, as you can see there, and it's also really easy to open and close with a slider on the side, so that's really useful. You don't have to carry sunglasses with you. It works pretty well, not as good as sunglasses, but it's enough considering it's built in. And also, if you were to look up this helmet online, some people complain about the weight, which comes in at a kind of a heavier than average 1600 grams, or I think 1.6 kg, am I right? Sorry, this one is 1550, but call it 1600. I have never noticed this helmet as being heavy. The T3 weighs around about the same, and most of the helmets I've picked up weigh around about the same. If you're going for a good middleweight helmet that doesn't cost too much, it's going to be about that. It's not a big deal. It's not that heavy. So next, and this definitely is this helmet's biggest point, is its safety. So I've talked about Sharp before and how few helmets score 5 out of 5. This is one of them. This helmet, kind of budget middleweight, got 5 out of 5 in the Sharp test. Very, very few score 5 out of 5, and I encourage you to go look up that site. I'll leave a link in the description and check whatever helmet you're thinking about. I think at the time when I was buying this helmet, there was 56 helmets in the history of Sharp that had scored 5 out of 5, and there was only 6 still for sale on the market. So if you're a safety buff and you really want a safe helmet, it's a plus point. Another thing that is good for safety that I did mention earlier is the double D-rings. Just means that you have to tighten the helmet the correct amount every time. So a micrometric strap might loosen over time, and those magnetic ones from Ruroc, I'd have to try one to trust it. But magnets in a crash, I don't know. Something else that I mentioned earlier as an annoyance from a comfort perspective is also good from safety. So this clip closed, that's good in a crash. So if you were to crash on a track, say, or something else, and went face down into a gravel pit, even in MotoGP, you'll sometimes see the visor gets clean ripped open or off, and you get a lot of stones into your face, which obviously could hurt your eyes. This clip close thing, it is quite a strong clip, which, as I said, comfort is a no-no, but it is definitely going to help the visor springing open in a crash and stop things getting in onto your face, which could be sharper or sore, and you don't want them to be sore. Other thing, this is a composite helmet, so it's not a polycarbonate, which just makes it better in an impact. Something else to bear in mind on the safety side of things, which I did mention also in the review of the T3, is this particular helmet has 2 shell sizes. So it ranges from extra small to double XL, and from large to double XL you have one shell size, and from extra small to medium you have the other shell size. Not ideal, like I said previously. It just means that, for instance, for the large, it has more liners and whatnot in it, and for the extra large it has less liners in it. Take that as you will. The safety stuff is still all the same in the helmet. You just get less thickness comfort linings and whatever else. Does it make a big difference safety wise? Not really, but ideally you want the shell size most suited to your head size and shape. So obviously with 2 shell sizes across the range of sizes, it is it's slightly better than one size, but it's definitely not as good as some of the more premium helmet offerings, which might have 5 shell sizes to cover the range of sizes, but it's not that big a deal. So one other thing to talk about before we move on to pros and cons is the durability of the helmet, and it has been phenomenal. This helmet I have used actually more mileage wise than I used the Thunder 3, and it looks brand new. The liners look brand new. I haven't even washed them once. They don't smell bad. it's just brilliant. Like the cover is perfect. Granted, I haven't dropped it, but you know, it hasn't deteriorated. All the markings on the back are still perfect. The chin skirt has wear from my chin, but it's not fraying. It's just there are marks that has been used. Same with the comfort liners. You know, there's been a head in this helmet for a while, but nothing major, and definitely nothing that I would say is a terminal degradation of the liners. So I would expect this to last. I know they recommend you change your helmet every 5 years. Whether you do or not is completely up to you, but I would imagine that the liners on this helmet will probably last the lifetime of the suggested life cycle. So that to me is a massive plus durability wise. It's bloody excellent. And as you saw earlier, the ratcheting system is still really, really strong on this, so that's holding up too. So let's talk about cons a bit. I've been kind of waxing lyrical about how good this helmet is, and it is really, really good, but definitely does have some cons. So like I mentioned earlier, opening the visor, it's a pain in the ass if you have thicker gloves on. Thin gloves in summer, no problem, but you're probably going to be leaving the visor cracked then anyway. That does lead on to hot weather riding as well. So with hot weather riding, this is quite a warm helmet. There is a decent amount of ventilation there, but just in really hot weather, you're going to want to be leaving the visor cracked open that little bit to get that extra airflow in there, because it is definitely better insulated than some other helmets. Another thing I mentioned earlier from a comfort perspective is the speakers with a comm system. If you're really big into getting a comm system and you have a fatter head than me, so I have a big head but it's long and kind of narrower, so I do get away with my ears a bit. But if you have either bigger ears or slightly wider head, I won't say fatter, then you might find this helmet uncomfortable with your comms unit speakers in there. So it's something that I would try to bring along to a test fit if you are concerned about it. Last thing I'll mention on the cons is the fact that it is double D-ring. I know some people absolutely hate them. Me, I am completely indifferent. Double D-ring is fine to me. Once you get used to it, it's grand, and it is probably that little bit safer and is probably that little bit better fitted every single time. Con on a pro, but a con from and it is annoying perspective. Especially if you ride away and forget to do up your helmet like I do all the time. You have to stop, take off your gloves, and yeah, it's annoying. Pros, price. The price of these, they range from, if you look on helmetcity.co.uk, £110 on sale, all the way up to, if you're insane and want to buy it on motorcycleshop.ie, they're €220. Sportsbikeshop.co.uk, I don't work for them, it's not an affiliate, I just think they're good value. Average is around about £160 or whatever that is in euro. I'll put it somewhere here, or maybe here, who knows. They are available and they're a really good price for what they are. Another pro obviously is safety. 5 out of 5 in the Sharp test. Again, it's an indicator, but it's a good one. It's a really good one. So in that score, 5 out of 5, safety, pro. Comfort, another pro. This is a really comfortable helmet. I've used it everywhere. I've worn it for every single video I've made on this channel. So if you want to see the range of weathers I've ridden in, you know, go look at the catalogue of videos. I've never been in a situation where I've felt that this helmet was not suitable, and that ranges from riding in up to -4 degrees, I think, Celsius, so that's, I don't know, like 30s in American stuff, or freedom units as Paddy Outback calls them, all the way up to, I think, the low 30 degrees Celsius temperatures. I put that up what it is in freedom units, I haven't a clue, but it has always been comfortable, so definitely comfort pro. And lastly, for someone from Ireland or for someone from somewhere that has a similar climate to us, in bad weather, this helmet is phenomenal. It doesn't let a load of water in on you when you have the vents still open. It just lets you breathe, which is nice. And provided you do fit the pin lock, which comes included in the packet when you buy the helmet, you won't fog up. It's never fogged up completely on me. I've gotten a band once when I needed to refit my pin lock. My fault, not the helmet's fault. But bad weather performance it's just incredible. You know, it keeps your head the right temperature. Oh God, how am I recording this? And it keeps you being able to see, which is obviously very important in rain or other conditions like that. The visor also wipes clear very well in bad weather conditions. So if you do have a glove with a wiper, like my Spada Enforcers, you can clear the visor really easily. It doesn't smudge. And lastly, to summarise, and who's this for? This is for commuters, long distance tourers, you know, racers who are looking for a budget helmet. It does have the British Motorcycle Sport sticker on it, which means you can bring it on tracks. Everyone, really, this helmet is for everyone. It's not expensive. It's, you know, you can, like I said, you can get it on sale at the moment for £110. And even if you don't go for the sale price and go for the why are you still selling this for this price on motorcycleshop.ie, it's 210, 220 euro. So it's still a good price, and definitely something I'd happily buy again. If I was to drop this and smash it to pieces tomorrow, would I buy another one? Absolutely. This is a great helmet. Just really no issues. It's been an excellent servant, and so I think that's the proof of the pudding, as they say. It's just a really, really good helmet, and at the moment you can get it for a really good price. I think I paid 220, 30 euro, and it was on sale at the time, so it started out a lot more expensive. But yeah, definitely recommend for me. Massive thumbs up. Overall, 5 out of 5. You know, I know I said 4 out of 5 for comfort and looks, but overall, everything considered, longevity, durability, safety, 5 out of 5. Really, really good helmet. So for the outro crew, or people who care, the Cardo unit, is it good? Yeah, it's really good. This is the Cardo Packtalk Bold without the JBL speakers, with the standard boy ones. It's bloody brilliant. I know anyone who watches the channel a good bit will see the weather I do often ride in, and for instance, here's the piece from Slay Head when I nearly drowned while over water. This survived it all. Not a peep out of it, which is kind of mad because the only place the water can get in is here, this little rubberized flap. And it was absolutely fine. I could hear Kev could hear me. The battery on them is brilliant. They're expensive, but I mean, for what they are, I'd have no problem buying another. Bloody brilliant yoke. So if you're looking for a comms unit, Cardo Packtalk Bold, really, really, really good. I know it definitely doesn't do the distance it says it does, which is something ridiculous, like 1.5 kilometers. I think me and Kev have gotten maybe like 400, 500 meters away from each other, but that's one point whatever kilometers in like a perfect situation. But yeah, it's really good. There you go. Yeah, and lastly, if anyone here wants to see more helmet reviews, well, you can't, because I only own 2, and I'm not going to buy any more because I have 2, and they're both functional. So unless you want to give me a helmet for free to review, no. Bye.